October 2nd, 1187. The scorching sun beats down on the golden stone of Jerusalem. Inside the city walls, tens of thousands of Christians wait in terrified silence. Outside, the banners of a massive Muslim army flutter in the dry wind. Almost a century earlier, when Christian Crusaders first breached these same walls, the streets ran ankle-deep in the blood of Muslims and Jews. Now, the wheel of history has turned. The city has fallen. The man waiting outside the gates holds the lives of every man, woman, and child inside his hands. In a world defined by holy war and merciless slaughter, what he does next will echo through centuries. The Middle East in the 12th century is a fractured, bleeding landscape. For decades, the cross and the crescent have collided in a brutal struggle for dominance. Medieval warfare is not a chivalrous game. It is a grueling, savage reality where capturing a city usually means mass executions, enslavement, and the annihilation of the defeated. The Crusaders, fighting to secure the Holy Land, have carved out kingdoms through fire and sword. They are not simple villains, but men of their time, driven by a volatile mix of zealous faith and political ambition. Against them rises a Kurdish commander who unites the fractured Muslim world not just through religious fervor, but through political brilliance and sheer force of will. He is Salahuddin, known to the West as Saladin, the undisputed Sultan of Egypt and Syria. As a Muslim ruler facing Christian Crusader states, his life is defined by war. Yet the mystery that would fascinate his enemies as much as his allies comes down to a single inquiry. How did Salahuddin treat people who did not share his religion? And why did his conduct toward his enemies become such an important part of his historical legacy? The answer begins at those gates of Jerusalem. When the Christian defenders realize they cannot hold the city, their commander, Balian of Ibelin, issues a desperate threat. If no quarter is given, they will destroy the holy sites, kill their own families, and fight to the last man. Salahuddin is a pragmatist. He accepts a negotiated surrender. The Christians will not be slaughtered. Instead, a ransom is set for every man, woman, and child. But what happens next shocks the medieval world. When thousands of civilians cannot afford the ransom and face immediate slavery, Salahuddin's brother appeals to him, and the Sultan frees thousands of captives without payment. He allows Christian widows and orphans to leave without ransom, and even provides them with money from his own treasury to fund their journey back to Christian lands. The Patriarch of Jerusalem leaves with wagons loaded with gold, and Salahuddin lets him go, honoring the exact terms of their agreement rather than seizing the wealth. To the European mind, expecting a massacre that would mirror the horrific Crusader conquest of 1099, this restraint is baffling. A Muslim conqueror has taken the holiest city in the world and chosen not to bathe it in blood. Yet we must be careful not to view Salahuddin through the lens of modern romanticism. The historical reality is far more complex than the Victorian legends of a flawless, gentle knight. Salahuddin was a ruthless military commander who fought a holy war. Following his crushing victory at the Battle of Hattin earlier that same year, he ordered the mass execution of captive Templar and Hospitaller knights. He recognized these warrior monks as fanatical threats who would never stop fighting. He was perfectly capable of the harsh, cold arithmetic of medieval warfare. He kept slaves, he devastated enemy lands, and he waged a relentless campaign to dismantle the Crusader states. His mercy was often highly calculated, a sharp political tool designed to show the moral superiority of his rule and to encourage other besieged cities to surrender without a long, costly fight. But it is exactly this blend of brutal pragmatism and profound humanity that makes his interactions with his greatest rival so captivating. During the Third Crusade, launched by Europe to take Jerusalem back, Salahuddin faces King Richard, the Lionheart of England. They are two of the most formidable warriors of their age, locked in a bitter, bloody stalemate. They never meet face to face, but their relationship across the battle lines becomes the stuff of legend. When King Richard falls severely ill with a fever, he does not receive an assassin in the night. Instead, Salahuddin sends his own personal physician to the Crusader camp, along with peaches, pears, and snow from the mountains to cool the English king's fever. Later, during the fierce Battle of Jaffa, Salahuddin watches from afar as Richard's horse is killed beneath him. Believing it is improper for a king of Richard's stature to fight on foot among the infantry, Salahuddin pauses the assault and sends 2 fresh horses to his enemy. Are these stories exaggerated? Yes. Over centuries of retelling in European courts, the rough edges of these events were polished into gleaming, romanticized myths. But the core of these actions is recorded by both Muslim and Christian chroniclers of the time. They are rooted in a very real, mutual respect that transcended the slaughter of their armies. This respect ultimately reshaped the Holy Land. When the Third Crusade grinds to a halt in a military stalemate, the 2 leaders agree to a truce. Jerusalem will remain under Muslim control, but Salahuddin ensures that Christian pilgrims are granted safe passage to visit the city. They are allowed to travel unarmed, protecting their right to worship in the very streets he fought so ruthlessly to conquer. It is a stunning compromise in an age of absolute religious exclusion. Salahuddin Ayyubi died in Damascus in 1193, just months after the Crusaders sailed for home. When his treasurers opened his personal vaults, they found them practically empty. He had given away his immense wealth to his subjects, his soldiers, and sometimes his enemies. There was not enough money left even to pay for his funeral. In the end, Salahuddin's legacy is not that he was a pacifist or a perfect saint. He was a man who lived in an era of unimaginable cruelty, who held absolute power over his vanquished foes, and who frequently chose not to use it. His story forces us to look across the centuries and ask a timeless question. Is true power the ability to completely destroy your enemies, or the discipline to recognize their humanity when you have every excuse to forget it?